and see who they're after, and it is clear that they know who they are after. If you are just joining us, this is a murder suspect that they are after right now. This person was on side streets, now on the 110.
Now on the 110, and listen to some more radio traffic. The car had stopped at one point, and there were people that got out of the car, and while they were on the traffic stop, I heard him on the radio say, he's going to take off, he's going to take off, and the driver did. And so now the driver took off, and it sounds like they asked some units to stay behind with whoever got out of the car originally. It's unclear if the driver is their suspect or potentially one of the passengers. I mean, the driver is the one that took off and ran, so you would kind of surmise that maybe the driver is the one that they're actually after. We're southbound on the 110 through the 105 there. That's the overpass that you're seeing as it comes through. We're also looking, so we have the license plate number, and the license plate returns to a Jeep. This is obviously not a Jeep. So in addition to the 187 issue, you also have potentially a stolen car or at least a plate that's on the wrong vehicle. So, I mean, that's lesser compared to the fact that they're chasing this guy for potential murder, as we are now southbound on the 110. South of the 105. And I can tell you that the watch commander that's in charge of this chase has authorized additional units to be in the chase because of the nature of the want. That's why we're seeing so many units. Last I heard, they had authorized at least 5 units and a supervisor to be involved in the chase. Plus, as Desmond was mentioning, we've got 2 air units overhead. I mean, this is a person that they really, really don't want to lose and don't want to lose eyes on. And you can just see we're really, really picking up speed now. Des is doing a great job of catching up here, but we are still southbound on the 110. Now that we are south of the 105, we won't have to deal with the LAX airspace. So as soon as we get back overhead, which Des is about to do, then we'll have a kind of a better shot on it. But it does make sense now, Amy. It does appear that there probably just is the driver at this point, because at some point the car was stopped. And it sounds like at least one person, we believe, got out of the car, and then you could hear the officer say, he's going to take off, he's going to take off. And then he did, and here's where we're at now. Exactly, and you can see there is a lot of traffic out there, but of course that fast lane there on the left has been pretty wide open. We're starting to see that driver now hitting the brakes here as things are slowing down, and they are trying to get around here. I can't see what's up ahead, but Des, you can see why things are slowing down a bit.
Yeah, so, okay, now that we're getting closer, we can put the speedometer back up here. It should be quite a bit more accurate as we get closer. He's not going 130. Let's just drop that for now. But I did want to mention that I'm pretty sure I heard that the suspect threw something out the window back on Main Street. You heard that too, Mike?
Yeah, at 60th and Main,
was that a weapon?
Laundromat.
Right. So, you know, and so many times that's, you know, something incriminating or a gun or a knife. They didn't say exactly what it is, but, you know, that's something very common that we see these suspects do. We'll see. Okay, now that we've got these flyover lanes ending here, we can keep up with it here. So now, yes, we are finally well clear of LAX's airspace. And, yeah, I mean, we are, you know, around 70, 80 miles an hour right now on this one after being on surface streets and circling that neighborhood for such a long time. So, wait a minute, what is the suspect's, you know, plan now? And we heard that it sounded like they wanted to try to get CHP engaged, and then I think I heard the watch commander or the sergeant say, you know, no, let's re-engage, let's stick with this one. And, you know, not too uncommon.
Ooh, on the shoulder there.
As we hit a little bit of traffic here, and let's see what this suspect does. I mean, we've seen so many risks being taken before on surface streets, and now as this drive's getting a little bit plugged up here with some afternoon traffic heading into the South Bay. He's not slowing down at all on the right-hand shoulder. We got the flyover lanes coming right here. So, yeah, this is an opportunity where a suspect could unwittingly spike strip themselves if they hit something that's in the center divider where all of the junk on our freeways gets swept towards. But, yeah, I mean, 75 miles an hour on the right-hand shoulder. We'll just, and look at, you know what, I do see some damage here. So we saw that wide shot back at 61st and Broadway where I thought there was a collision, and I'm pretty sure, you know, that's going to verify that there was. It was kind of minor, so, you know, the people in the other car could be okay, but even from that long distance, it looked like a collision. So you really see the desperation of this suspect doing anything they can to get away here as we're just blasting along southbound 110, getting through Compton, and we will be down at the 405 here shortly, and we'll see what the suspect decides to do, if they're going to go towards the ports of LA or what, but they are booking it here on the in the center divider, that's for sure.
Yeah, and so often when we see them in the center divider like that, they will end up with a flat tire because there is so much junk on the roadway. There are metal pieces, all sorts of items that can actually puncture one of the tires. So we have seen that, but so far this driver moving right along in that shoulder there and keeping up with a lot of speed there. The driver was very reckless when he was on the surface streets, but it seems like, besides being in that, shoulder there, doesn't seem to be doing a lot of lane change and aggressive moves like we saw a little earlier, right, Mike?
Right, yeah, and he is, and that is good. We're going much faster, but at least hopefully the risk is a little bit less. And I'm trying to listen right now. Yeah, okay, so they now are officially requesting CHP to take this over.
Oh, okay.
So I just heard that, and that might be why, aside from the fact that we're blazing 100 miles an hour down the freeway, but that may be why we're starting to not see as many LAPD units
right
behind it right now, because it does sound like they want CHP to take over. But as Desmond can attest to, we're going to run out of freeway soon. We're barreling down the southbound 110. It's going to dump us out into the San Pedro area, and if CHP doesn't get situated before it gets off the freeway, I don't know that they'll want to get it before it gets off the freeway. Now they are talking about kind of units that they've got. They've got six patrol car, two-person cars. Plus a supervisor. So you've got 7 LAPD units that are on the freeway. They're coming in. The good news, though, is we're coming into LAPD's Harbor Division. So we are coming into another division, even though we're well south of where this started, we are coming into another division where some of those harbor units can begin to try to help out Newton units, because Newton units, Newton's basically half of downtown and half of south of the 10, and they are now well away from Newton Division totally. So Harbor Division units are being advised, and they are...
And of course, that will mean that you've got fresh drivers, driving at these speeds, chasing after someone who is so reckless, takes a lot of energy. And so now you're going to have some fresh officers behind the wheel picking up this pursuit as this driver has switched lanes a little bit here and in the fast lane, and then was moving a bit. But surprisingly, Des, there's a lot more open roadway than I would expect at this time.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also just listening. There's a back and forth right now between the airship and the sergeant or the lieutenant that's in charge of the incident commander that's in charge of this chase. The airship does not want to give it to CHP. The airship says, we've got 7 units here. We've got a total pursuit package is what they call it, with the 2 helicopters. CHP doesn't have anybody here, so let's not give it to them. The incident commander says if CHP gets a pursuit package in place, then we want to hand it over, but we won't do that until CHP is ready with multiple units to be able to effectively take it and chase it the way that the LAPD is. But again, we'll see what CHP wants to do, because we're going to run out of the freeway here. So if we don't stay on the freeway, I don't know that CHP is going to want to take it, especially if we're still in LAPD's jurisdiction.
Yeah, and we are showing our viewers right now on the right side of your screen. This is what was going on a little earlier. You can see the aggressive moves going through these intersections that were so busy. And now we are back to showing you this murder suspect who is being chased by LAPD. You can see going over 100 miles an hour at times. This has been going on since about, I'd say around 3:45, Mike. Is that when you heard about it?
Yeah, 3:40. I was playing the radio back. 3:40 is when they were in a following. That's with the detective, and then ultimately the car stopped. We believe at least one person got out and then took off. So we've been going for, almost about a half an hour.
Yeah, about a half an hour. And Des, I have to say, I'm surprised that there isn't more traffic right now on this stretch of roadway, but we are about at the end of the 110, is that right? You can see up ahead?
Yeah, we're very near the end here. Going to have the option for the Vincent Thomas Bridge or forced off onto Gaffey Street, where there will almost certainly be some traffic there at the end of the freeway. Starting to see some slowing cars right here. Yeah, the section of the 110 kind of south of the 91 down towards the end of the freeway, even at rush hour, isn't typically too bad until you take it right to the end and get off at San Pedro. And look at it flying right off of the off-ramp at 70, 80 miles an hour here. And now let's see if we're making the transition here to the Vincent Thomas, or if this is going to take us off at Gaffey. I believe this is going to be the transition to the Vincent Thomas right here. So we'll see what the suspect is. Their next move is going to be, or they also have the option for Harbor Boulevard right here. But that was a pretty close move where he could have easily lost control. So LAPD, there they are. They are right there behind him as the suspect gets ready to go underneath us here. Just bear with us a second. And cutting. No, couldn't decide what to do. Yeah, kind of wanted to make a move there. Very common for these suspects to try to kind of juke the police like that. And, oh, no, going to go wrong way down the off-ramp here at Harbor Boulevard. Ooh. This is the first time we've seen wrong way driving like this, and here comes a semi. It's at least it's pretty wide, but this is something that CHP is not going to want. Or how's he going to get out of this one? Wow. Oh my goodness! It's like
losing the bumper.
Just imagine you just got off work and someone comes flying towards you the wrong direction like this. Unfortunately, that's probably going to buy the suspect a little bit of time. Well, actually, LAPD, they are doing the wrong way driving. They actually, that's pretty surprising. Yeah. But that just speaks to obviously the nature of the want here, an alleged murder suspect. So they are going to have a little bit more leeway on what they're going to do, but maybe coming into a dead end here, and we're around the ports and big trucks everywhere. Looks like there's a traffic officer. Let's see where this is going to take us, but this don't know if the suspect has any idea where they are, just kind of seeing where the roads lead him here, but could very easily get into a dead end here.
Around the traffic.
What the next move? Well, actually, never mind. Actually, managed to get back out of that and out to Pacific Avenue. So, boy, just really holding our breath up here with every move that this suspect is making now in San Pedro.
And really quick, Amy.
It looks like there's some damage there on the passenger rear wheel.
Yeah.
Is that right? Are you seeing that, Des?
Yeah.
The bumper there, I guess is what it is.
Yeah, the rear bumper there. I'm not sure where he might have ended up slightly colliding with one of those vehicles that he squeezed between them going the wrong way. As we're kind of paralleling the 110 right now, but oh my goodness, that's just so crazy how. Okay, now we're going back northbound 110. So I mean, at least good news for everyone in San Pedro. We're not going to have any head-on collisions here, but it's just one roll of the dice after another for this suspect with the insane chances that they've been taking. As we're now hurling back northbound away from the ports and back towards where this all started.
And we were showing our viewers there on the right side, you could see when there was that little clip from the truck that did in fact hit that bumper. And now you can see it's just wobbling there. That was in that little turnabout there.
And this is some of that wrong way driving when he came off of the off ramp there of the freeway, which is just really remarkable. Really quick, Amy, so Des had mentioned that they thought he threw something out, and there goes the bumper.
Right there.
They thought he threw something out at Main and 60th at that car wash. So a unit went back out there, and underneath of a car, they found a holster, but no gun in the holster. So they were able to recover that. Obviously, they'll try to verify if it was the suspects. But so the holster is gone. Who knows where the gun that was supposed to be in the holster is, as now he's barreling back northbound on the 110, 100 miles an hour with this bumper hanging on for dear life.
Well, we did see at one point, it looked like all the windows were rolled down, and that might have been around that time when it was happening, because they've been up pretty much since then. But, I mean, this is very dangerous, too. Going this fast with that bumper, it could fly off and hit another car and really cause some problems there.
Yeah, definitely it could cause a crash. I mean, if that comes off and hits a windshield or bounces the right way or something, that would for certain be dangerous for the drivers that are behind this guy, who is just going so incredibly fast. I mean, talk about somebody that is just desperate to get away. And the LAPD is not letting this go. Trying CHP again, because now we're northbound 110. So the airship's going to switch over and try to get a hold of CHP and see if CHP can come and take this over now. But we're going back the way we came, really, really quickly northbound on the 110 freeway.
Yeah, I'm surprised this bumper is still hanging on with the speeds that have been this high, over 100 miles an hour. It is barely hanging on there, and I just dread to see where it goes when it does eventually fly off there. I'm just amazed that it's still hanging on there. But hopefully that does keep people back a little bit from this car. But, it could be dangerous for the officers that are right behind it as well, because, they're the ones that are staying right behind on this person's tail. Again, if you are just joining us, this is the pursuit of a murder suspect that has been going on since about 3:40 this afternoon. And we've got LAPD following this black vehicle here that has been really making some aggressive turns and going on the wrong side of the road, clipped a truck, and that is why that rear bumper is now just hanging off of the car. He is back in the shoulder area, which we know has a lot of debris, a lot of things in it, and they can often flatten a tire, but we haven't seen that happen yet. We just see this bumper hanging, Des.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this now, 80, 90 miles an hour with practically stopped traffic, and it's only going to get worse for the suspect as we get closer to South LA. I mean, they may have, my pilot Dylan saying that traffic may be blocked up ahead. We'll see what that's about, if it's a crash or if CHP is blocking traffic. But yeah, it may actually be some kind of a CHP roadblock. Wondering about, I mean, we haven't heard about CHP getting involved in this one yet, but I mean, look at it. It's just, if he loses control, hits something and bounces into lanes, he's got to hit someone that's at a stop going 90 miles an hour right there. Okay, look at that. I think that was a spike strip attempt. I think it was, but I couldn't tell if it was successful or not. That's
look at that front
really
driver's
interesting.
tire,
So CHP. Okay, then yeah. Well, yeah, it could have either been from the shoulder or from that spike, but. Hopefully he got it. That was brilliant there by CHP, and hopefully going to really lessen the danger of this vehicle. But, I mean, it looks like they're just going to take this until they can't take it anymore. The vehicle is finally starting to slow down a little bit. He's going to have a lot of trouble navigating the vehicle here with one less tire that is definitely deflating. So it happened so fast I couldn't tell, but amazing work there by CHP running that brake and getting everything ready and basically forcing the suspect to go over the spike strip there. There was no opportunity for him, I don't think, to do anything but go over that spike. So,
and perhaps we can rewind that and show it to our viewers maybe on the right side of the screen, because it was so fast, it was hard to almost make out what was happening. You just saw all the traffic stopped, and then there it was. So maybe we can show that to them in just a little bit. We'll try to get that set up for you so you can see it.
It definitely was. I'm looking at it right now. And you know what's crazy is when you watch his driving.
Oh, there's a tire.
There goes the rubber.
It's like he sees it. He starts to hit the brakes and realizes he's got nowhere to go, and he goes right over the top of it. And I wouldn't be surprised, Des, too, and I don't know, I mean, you know, we don't want to lose our shot here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he lost the other side tires as well, because he went over that pretty squarely. I wouldn't be surprised if all four, or at least the front two, hit that spike, because he hit
look
it
at
pretty
that tire
direct.
there. It's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, the suspect, I mean, look at now, it looks like the rim is starting to break the wheel well apart right here as well, or whatever rubber is left. Oh, this poor Toyota Corolla. Making a turn, but it's going to be very difficult for him. You can see, I don't think he's going to be physically capable of driving the way that he was earlier.
No way.
So that's at least, you know, some good news for everyone. And let's see how the suspect handles this. They still not giving any indication of giving this up, but I mean, the jig is definitely up on this, and it should just be a matter of time if they're just going to kind of try to run the clock out on this one.
I don't know if we got to it quite
it was
soon
right.
enough.
It was right at the beginning of the tape. I don't know if we can re-rack it and play it again, but it was quick. And what a move by CHP. I mean, using the traffic to their advantage to force him to the shoulder to set up a spike. I mean, that's really great thinking by those officers from CHP that were running that. Okay, here it is again. So watch and you'll see it's right after this tree. And then he starts to slow down. You'll see him kind of hit the brakes and realize there's nowhere to go right there.
Yeah,
right there.
There it
That's
is.
where he hits it. And you can see those officers standing out there, and it kind of coils back. So, I mean, that was really remarkable. And what a change it made to this chase.
Well,
this was a guy that was going 90, 100 miles an hour on the freeway, wild on the surface streets, and now we're at 22 miles an hour.
Yes, but we do want to mention again that this is a murder suspect. And this person did throw out a holster, but could very well still have that gun.
Right, which is you know, that's why we're not seeing pit maneuvers. I mean, the spike strip on the freeway was just remarkable and for so many different reasons, but not usually a tactic we would see with a homicide suspect. So, but now, I mean, you know, this guy's really got to understand and know that he is out of options. I mean, the car's falling apart. He cannot get the speeds that he was anywhere close to achieving before. I mean, we're at 18 miles an hour now, and you just kind of wonder what, you know, who knows what he's thinking, but he's got to know that this isn't going to last much longer, and with the car in this kind of shape, he's certainly not going to get away.
No, he's just on that rim there, Des, that front driver's side rim.
Yeah, and, you know, we might start to see some sparks here pretty soon. So, you know, I hope that they use that in the CHP Training Academy, well, really for all the authorities, the way that they were able to do that, because, I mean, you think of, you know, they had to come and run that traffic break and hold all that traffic back and then get in front and throw the spike out. And it was brilliant, too, because it was all happening so fast that the officer was really never in any danger. They were kind of, you know, being shielded by all of the other vehicles right there. And it's something that, you know, we would love to maybe see employed more often in these pursuits that just go on and on with very serious suspects that are driving like absolute lunatics like this one was. And look at how handicapped now the suspect's vehicle has become. Still trying to just kind of go as much as they can, but at some point the vehicle is going to give out, and I might have just heard that they're getting a canine ready as well. I think I just heard. So for when this is over, whenever it does finally end, you know, they're going to have everything lined up to take this person to handcuffs.
Well, and you know, the suspect was none the wiser to that spike strip either, because to him it's like, oh great, traffic on the 110.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't look to a normal person, it wouldn't look any different than a busy day on the freeway. And little did he know that they were setting him up to really take out and really disable this car pretty significantly. So, you know, LAPD is now probably making their moves of what they call post-pursuit tactics, which is, okay, how are we going to, with this guy, who's going to be lethal, who's going to be less lethal, if we're going to bring K9 in, how are we going to, you know, kind of handle all of this now that, you know, things have significantly calmed down. And thankfully so, because the public was really in danger throughout the course of this chase, especially when we were on surface streets, especially in San Pedro when he got really desperate, was wrong side of the freeway on the off-ramp and wrong side of the roadway. Again, here we are. This is from earlier on the right side of your screen. This is just some of the driving that we were seeing during all of this, cutting through the gas station there on the wrong side of the road and popping back out. And I got to give it to Newton. Newton Division was on his tail the whole time. There's another close call at Main and 43rd when he tried to cut off that car around a truck here at San Pedro and 43rd. I mean, just really, really intense driving with a lot of people on the road around a school bus here on 50th Street. I mean, just really, really dangerous stuff that has happened. And the fact that we've only swapped paint and lost a bumper is pretty remarkable for the way that this person has been driving.
Exactly. And so often when we see pursuits and they're on a highway or a freeway, we say, well, they most likely won't be using a pit maneuver or spike strips. But now we know it can be done. They can manage to put out that spike strip when you've got a lot of traffic. And all too often we have a lot of traffic on our highways and freeways.
Absolutely. And Des, I mean, I'd like your opinion on this too. I mean, spike strips on the freeway are rare, but such a coordinated effort to stop traffic, force the driver to the shoulder, and then do the spike strip, I don't know that I've ever seen that in a chase.
You know, one time we saw it before on the eastbound 105. It was actually a much less serious charge for that suspect. I think it was just a stolen vehicle, and there was like already some really heavy traffic, so it wasn't that difficult. But, you know, they definitely stopped full-speed traffic like they were running a traffic break to initiate that, and they ended up, you know, basically leveraging the traffic in the public's favor, in the authorities' favor, to really hamstring the suspect and force them to go over those spikes. So, you know, I mean, it may be something that we could see more often to just kind of diffuse the danger from these situations. And we haven't seen the suspect be able to get back up above 25 or 30 miles an hour since all of that happened. And I think they're kind of leery to even try to kind of turn the wheel at all. It's just kind of been sticking here to Main Street, just creeping along. But you know, at some point, if he does continue this, I mean, we still got a little ways, but of course we are headed back up to that LAX airspace. So, you know, we'll see if we're able to hopefully stick with this one. But they are just running out the clock. I don't know, maybe, you know, the writing is on the wall for the suspect, maybe on the phone talking to some loved ones or their lawyer or what. Very common for them to just go until the vehicle can't go anymore if they know that they're, you know, about to be locked up for you know, these allegations. Then they want to just try to get the last few moments of freedom that they can get, and it kind of seems like that's the situation we're in right now. And LAPD is happy to just follow this until you know, however it's going to end, especially now that the danger to the public has been considerably subdued.
But it'll be interesting, Des, to see if this person tries to get right back to that area where we saw him hanging out for a while. Perhaps maybe a chance for him to try to make a run for it, to get to a familiar area, maybe to a home, or maybe he's communicating with someone saying, hey, meet me here. You know, we have certainly seen that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have seen, you know, people, they go to family members' homes or friends' homes and they just get out and run in the house, and then, you know, can turn into a barricade situation. So, you know, definitely LAPD wants to avoid that. I mean, it would be preferable, I suppose, than, you know, to a pursuit, certainly to the kind of pursuit that we saw earlier. But, yeah, definitely a possibility for this to turn into something like that, or even just if the car eventually conks out, to turn into a standoff situation. I mean, we were actually on our way to another barricade situation when this one broke out. So there goes more.
Another
so
tire.
yeah, now we're definitely down 2 tires. So I think it's going to be both driver's side that are down, just riding on the rims now. Wow. And it's really going to make it that much more difficult to handle this vehicle. It's got to be a terrible sound, metal on asphalt. It's got to be getting in there, probably just getting increasingly uncomfortable for the suspect. And yet it's like they're just kind of cruising along like none of this is happening. LAPD right back there. They'll be ready for the end. And then, you know, the question is, though, is this person still armed? We know that they found an empty holster. Again, this is an alleged murder suspect, so I would have to imagine that they are assuming that this person is armed and dangerous. So that will be another aspect to this, is how's the suspect going to act when this does end?
But does that mean then, Mike, that they won't attempt a pit maneuver?
Yes, it has actually been denied. So they discussed it, they talked about it, and the pit maneuver was denied because of the want, because of the potential that he's armed. And when CHP had it, or was involved in it, they did advise their officers that there is a possibility that this person is armed. And because of the nature of the want, and because that it is, you know, potentially armed suspect, the pit maneuver was denied for those officers who had requested it, because they do have, I mean, all of LAPD's officers are pit trained, so certainly any one of them could have done it if that was approved. But the watch commander said nope, or the incident commander said nope, let's just let this kind of play out. And especially, I mean, when we're looking at speeds, you know, significantly slower than what we were talking about. I mean, at this point, we're looking at like 15, 20 miles an hour here. I mean, this is not anything, you know, to write home about at this point. And he's still trying, though. I mean, he's still going to go through that red light and through that intersection here. But, you know, at least it's not like a bullet coming through the roadway now.
Exactly. And this looks more like an industrial area. We don't have as many people out on the streets walking around. You don't have as many of those intersections, and you don't have those tight streets that we were seeing earlier when he was going at those really high rates of speed. But this is still a situation that could be very dangerous if, in fact, this person is armed. And we've seen a lot of desperation from this person who just refused to stop or even slow down at times. And there was no telling what this person will do in an effort to stay free. So we're just watching. And is this really, I'm not Main and Spring Street in Compton, so this is more industrial.
Yeah, I was actually just looking ahead there. I had a view of it, and it is almost all, you know, industrial commercial area here right now, and remarkably quiet, even though it's the time of the afternoon where everyone is getting off work. There are almost no vehicles on Main Street right now, and it doesn't appear that it's because authorities are holding people back. I mean, you can see the intersections are open. There's just not a lot of traffic in this area. If we continue northbound, though, into South LA, that's going to be the more residential section of Main Street. That's where things are definitely going to get a lot more complicated, and you could potentially have a lot of people in harm's way when this does eventually end. But, you know, you see the suspect doing this, they're really endangering themselves now more than anybody else. I mean, looking at, you know, possibly getting T-boned right here. If someone's not paying attention, I mean, look at that, you know, like they're not paying attention, if they're fiddling with their radio or something, or their phone, and then boom, you know, this guy's going to get smacked on the driver's side. So much more, you know, like in danger for themselves than anyone else. So, I mean, it wouldn't be pleasant to get hit by a vehicle going 25 miles an hour, but it should be something that, you know, if an innocent person was hit, they would at least be able to walk away from. But we are just still cruising along here, wondering how much longer. I mean, at some point, the rim is probably going to get ground down to the brake caliper, and we're going to start to see a lot of sparks, and then that will hopefully be the end of it. But we've seen so many of these just go on rims, a pretty remarkable thing. And let's just look at those back tires, because they still look like they're inflated, at least the driver's side. We haven't seen the other side yet, but even just with 2 tires, it's getting enough grip on the roadway to keep going on the rims, and we just continue to run out the clock as we're northbound on Main, almost back into South LA.
And almost back into the Bravo. We're going to run back into that issue where if he gets north of the 105
Yeah.
here on Main, we'll be back in the LAX airspace, which would be problematic.
Yeah, but to piggyback on what
Yeah.
Des was saying, I was just thinking the same thing about how well this car is handling on the rims of the two front wheels, I guess is what I should say. There's no tire there. And with that bumper, as you were talking about earlier, Des, it must be so loud with him on those rims. You've got the rim noise and you've got that bumper dragging in the back. I mean, it's definitely a noisy ride, but not enough of an irritant to make him stop at this point. But again, we're at 4:34. This has been going on since about 3:40. Officers are in pursuit of a murder suspect. There were other people in the car at one point. This person did let those others out. We don't know how many, but then kept going, refusing to stop, has been driving very recklessly. Officers did manage to put out a spike strip on the 110, and the driver went right over it, could not avoid it. Now it is on the two rims of the front of this car, and you also see that rear bumper just hanging on the car. That was when this driver was going the wrong way on a ramp and clipped a truck, and that then knocked the bumper off, but it is still hanging on, and this driver is still able to control this car.
Yeah, and here we go again, just cruising through another intersection, but ever so slowly as we just kind of been hanging out here at 25-ish, 30-ish miles an hour. And yeah, the vehicle is going to handle okay, I suppose, in a straight line, but if they try to turn the wheel, they could very easily lose control because it's not going to have any traction there, metal on asphalt. Although this is a front-wheel drive car, pretty sure. Shout out to my car buddy who let me know, believes this is a base model Corolla and not the sportier version of the vehicle. So should be a front-wheel drive car, which is part of the reason why this car is still able to go. But yeah, we're going to be crossing underneath the 105, and just it's just kind of up to the suspect now at this point on how much longer they want to keep this going, how much longer they want to run out the clock, and whatever phone calls they've got to get in, or yes, it's frustrating for authorities, but at the same time, they would, obviously take this any day over the way it was a half hour ago.
Exactly. So dangerous at speeds over 100 miles an hour. Really aggressive driving, zigging and zagging in and out of traffic. So many close calls that we witnessed there. And unfortunately, now this person has gotten into more of a residential area, more businesses on going around, more traffic. Does not seem to be, dismayed at all by what's going on. We're showing you again here on the right side of your screen some of that aggressive driving that he was doing a little earlier. You see there out of that gas station, squeezing between the traffic, and then a very close call there with that red vehicle. And then another close call, just very aggressive, and really, really doing anything that he could to avoid being stopped by these officers. We've been seeing so much desperation here. Again, this is someone who is wanted for murder. That is all we know about the suspect. We don't know exactly about the case or that murder. Again, we're showing you some of that aggressive driving that was made, and this is about near the time when I believe he loses that bumper very soon in this time. But we're watching also on the left side of your screen. There it is right there, that bumper getting clipped right there. On the right side of your screen, on the left side, we watch as this driver continues on the two front rims and a rear bumper just hanging on, going through yet another intersection. But it looks like he had the green light at this one, Does.
Yeah, I was lucky on that one. Imperial Highway is almost like a miniature freeway at this time of the afternoon. So, yeah, they got lucky. I think they have the green light on that one. But now we're getting into an area where there are people out here that are probably just seeing this vehicle, kind of coming along, making this horrible sound like nails on a chalkboard, and this bumper going on, and it's probably to some of the passerbys, kind of a humorous situation, like, what is this guy doing? But without realizing that this is actually potentially a very serious suspect here who could be armed and dangerous. So kind of an interesting juxtaposition here, but this is going to start to attract attention to people that live in the area. You can see lots of apartment buildings and stuff, and it's just going to get busier here as we get closer to downtown LA. And the vehicle's still not really showing any signs of giving up, still just chugging along on the rims with just the rear tires right now. Just kind of widen out here. As you can see, our shot is getting a little bit farther because we are back into LAX's airspace. And until LAPD's helicopters are no longer overhead, we'll have to cede the airspace to them. We've got, you know, jets coming down, landing at 1,000 or so feet, and so obviously LAPD has the priority on that. But if this does continue, at some point we'll be able to transition along the 110 and go to the other side of it. So we're going to maintain this shot for now, and as it gets probably about another mile or so, we'll make that decision. And it seems like this just kind of the MO of the suspect is just to keep the wheel straight, 30 miles an hour, northbound on Main Street. I mean, we've been on almost, you know, like the entirety of Main Street here from almost from the South Bay up now into South LA as we cross 104th Street.
Yep, and he is heading back into the same area that he was in a little earlier. If you're just joining us, wondering why authorities are not attempting a pit maneuver with the slow speed that's going on, it is because this person may in fact be armed. We do know that a little earlier the suspect did throw at least a gun holster out of a window, but it did not appear that a gun was also thrown out of the window. So this person may in fact be armed with a gun. It is a murder suspect, and so because of that reason, you see people out, somebody chasing. Maybe it looks like he was trying to get some pictures or video with his cell phone there. Something that, of course, law enforcement does not want you to do.
No, and you know, the longer these go on at these slow speeds, the more of that, unfortunately, we're likely to see. It just kind of turns into a circus. We've already seen 3 or 4 people out here wanting to get a glimpse of this. You know, here comes another one coming out. And again, you know, the vehicle is making a very loud sound. People can hear it coming. They can hear the helicopters overhead. It's been going on long enough that this is, you know, probably all over social media and people are talking about it. And you've got the bumper hanging off of the back. And, you know, people, like I said, probably think this is an amusing situation to them, but certainly not for the authorities. You know, this is just your run-of-the-mill stolen vehicle suspect or something. We're talking as serious as it gets, but just continuing. So we're going to keep this shot for a little bit longer and then make our transition to the other side, and as the suspect just is content to keep the wheel straight here, 92nd Street and beyond.
And you know, what has surprised me, Des, is that for the most part, this person's going straight, but there have been a couple of little turns to get around traffic and cars, and he seems to really be controlling the vehicle quite well on those 2 front rims and with that bumper hanging in the back. I mean, they're not aggressive turns by any means, but he has been able to, you know, make slight turns to get around cars, other cars out there, and seems to be controlling the vehicle with no problem.
Yeah, just kind of barely veering the steering wheel to one side or the other to get over about a lane's distance, and kind of doing it slowly to get around without, you know, anything, without completely losing traction here. So, yeah, pretty interesting how long this has continued as it continues to get further away from us at slower speeds, but now we're getting a great view of all of the LAPD units that are in this and are ready for the end of this. Maybe a K-9 unit in there as well as the 2 helicopters, and really, you know, all thanks to the coordination with the CHP and that brilliant spike strip that we saw earlier. All right, now trying to get around the traffic, and you know, again, fortunately for him, he didn't have the cross traffic there. He kind of had the protected left-hand turns and was able to get through that at Manchester, another very, very busy intersection. We have plenty of other busy intersections where the suspect's going to have to get pretty lucky to get through without stopping the vehicle the way that they have. But it is pretty surprising how light the traffic is in this section of South LA. And my pilot Dylan, talking to LAX now, we're going to get ready to make the transition to get to the north side of this pursuit.
Yes, and you know, Mike, you were talking a little earlier about how many cruisers were being used in this because of the want for the suspect, the want of murder.
Yeah, and they had, excuse me, and we can try to count them now, but they had gotten approval for 5 what they call A cars, which A cars are 2-person 2 officer units. They're your normal patrol cars, plus a supervisor for a total of 6 cars. So they are well staffed and ready to go. It's called a pursuit package, is what they call when they get it all kind of situated and organized here. Now, their other option is if for some reason they don't want to wait for this guy to just kind of give up, then what they are also able to do, which we have seen them do in the past, is have Metro come in. Metropolitan Division, which we've seen them come in with armored vehicles and essentially bring this to an end by boxing that suspect in and just saying enough is enough. We're not going to continue to chase you. It's a risk that patrol's not going to take because it's a murder suspect, but something certainly if they've got those armored vehicles, they bring those in and they box them in. I've seen that happen maybe a couple of times during pursuits with the LAPD. So it just depends on what LAPD is interested in doing, what the incident commander is kind of willing to tolerate, and how long they want to let this go on. At this point, though, I would say because of the speeds and because we are significantly slowed, he's not blowing. I mean, he's still going through red lights and stuff, but at a much slower speed than we were.
Yes.
They may be content to just kind of let this go. Now, the thing that would make, if I was in charge of this pursuit, the thing that would make me slightly nervous is that he's trying clearly to get back to where this started. And he's been on the phone. We've seen it through the window. So is he trying to coordinate somebody with someone back up where he is familiar with the neighborhood and back up where this chase started? So that would be the only thing that, maybe the LAPD doesn't want to allow. They don't want to let him get back into a friendly area or a friendly neighborhood where potentially somebody could help him. But short of bringing in Metro with armored units, it doesn't appear that patrol is comfortable enough to do this because of the want and because of the seriousness. Desmond's getting repositioned, as we've told you. We are on the LAX approach here, so we are having to transition north through the 110, and of course, he just made a westbound turn. Just as Des is trying to get up, and we were kind of counting on a solid north all the way through the airspace, he unfortunately has made a westbound turn on us, which is going to make things very, very difficult for Des and Dylan, who are doing a really great job trying to follow this through this really, frustrating airspace through their LAX, but it's for safety reasons, and that's the reason why we have to let, all of the people that are involved in this, the agencies, just, have the space, because certainly it's important for their safety. There's the cars. Des is looking at Broadway and 71st. He's still going westbound?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You get a great view of our microwave bubble right there, kind of unavoidable. But he was still going westbound here, and it's like the suspect is trying to aggravate everyone in this situation. Just like if you're gonna go down in a blaze of annoyance is kind of how it's seeming right here. So give us a second here to see if we can.
You got him right there, going under the 110 right there, Des.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Which is amazing with
Yes.
winds.
Okay.
Getting on the freeway. Is he getting on the freeway, or is that just a parallel? That's just parallel.
Well, I think he'll have the option to up
there,
here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm like doubled in right now, digitally and optically here. Trying to follow this one from a couple of miles away. I mean, it would be beneficial for us if he did get back on the freeway. I don't know. Maybe there could be another opportunity for another brilliant CHP spike strip if they do that. I mean, the 110. This section is very congested right now. Let's see what they're going to do. I was surprised that they were even able to successfully turn the wheel of the vehicle there without much issue. And barring a last-second juke, it looks like they are going to be going back south 110. So, yeah, we thought maybe they were coming back into the area where it started. Maybe it was going to meet up with a friend potentially, but now it just seems kind of aimless. And just keeping this going as long as possible as we're getting back on the freeway. So I'm sure LAX is just thrilled with us at the moment here as we get ready to make the transition back southbound again. And let's see if they even attempt to get into lanes or they're just going to keep it on the right-hand shoulder. But, boy, if traffic wasn't already bad enough on the 110, bad news for everybody here. Hey, it is about to get quite a bit worse.
Hey, Des, real quick, the unit in the end of the chase, and if you can see it, there's a black Audi that is apparently following the pursuit and has there. So see it? It's that one that I think it's making that getting over. The unit has said, and that unit's going to try to cut him off. The unit back there has said he's gone through a couple of red lights to try to keep up with them. So LAPD is now concerned about that person too, if that's a friendly. And here we are getting back off the freeway. What is this, 82nd Street?
Yeah, well, let's keep an eye on that vehicle right there, the one you can see that is paralleling, and are they trying to kind of creep behind? Indeed, and you know, this is something we've been seeing a lot more recently with the getaway cars, the kind of Mission Impossible style, you know, ditch the car underneath the freeway and have my friend come pick me up, you know, when the helicopter can't see it. And we have been seeing just, you know, I hate to say professional type maneuvers, but just, you know, diabolical and effective. So that's very interesting now, seeing if there's another vehicle kind of hanging around in this. And, you know, an Audi is, you know, automatically a more capable vehicle than this one would be anyway, certainly with all 4 tires engaged as well. But now just kind of hanging around here, 84th and or eastbound Manchester now at this point. So, this is it's really like a tough call for us. Do we watch it from here or go to the other side and aggravate LAX, and only for him to kind of go back northbound? He's kind of right in the center of the space right now. So we're doing the best we can to bring this to you, but particularly difficult at the moment.
Yeah, you know, it was only about maybe a week and a half or so ago that we watched a pursuit in the noon hour in which there was another car following the pursuit, and the suspect and that additional car actually wedged in one of the cruisers. And a woman got out of the car and knocked on the window and said something to the officer. We did not know what, but it was very interesting to see. And now to see another car following a pursuit like this, it just really makes you wonder, because I do believe that suspect did jump in that red car of that woman who had jumped out and was following it and managed to
get away. Yeah, that was that theft suspect out of Bell, or out of somewhere in the San Gabriel Valley, I think. And yeah, they were chasing it. They did that weird kind of ring around the rosy in the intersection here. But yeah, I mean, that has become, and I would say within the last maybe year or so, that has become really common, that these pursuit suspects are getting people to pick them up or wait for them or try to coordinate something with somebody. So, you know, if this person has been on the phone, which we kind of think that he has, I mean, he's had obviously, sorry, just listening to some.
Plenty of time to be communicating with people, and we're watching, and those cruisers are very close. You wonder if they're thinking perhaps they're going to try to do something like that and slip out of the car and slip into another. But at this rate, the way that they are right behind this car, doesn't seem like it would even be possible.
East just slightly.
Yeah, and right now you're right, and there's, I mean, there's you know, cops everywhere. I mean, short of the whatever friend gets ahead of them and literally just runs out and runs in. I mean, you're not going to do that slyly. You're not going to trick anybody, but it would give them the opportunity to be in a more capable car if they did that. I can also tell you, Amy, that we are coming back to where the pursuit started. It sounds like the pursuit started somewhere between 30th and 40th in Maine, and now they are asking for units to go be in that area where this chase started, in case this person tries to run from, you know, if 30th in Maine or 40th in Maine is their home, or they know somebody that lives there or what have you. They want units to be in that area just in case this guy tries to make a run for it or something, back where this whole thing started.
Yes, and if you are just joining us, this is the pursuit of a murder suspect. It began around 3:40 this afternoon. There were other people in the car, at least one other person that did get out of the car. We don't know if there's anyone else in the car. It appears that it's just one driver that is accused of murder. At one point, this driver did throw a gun holster out of the window, but no weapon was found in that holster or also thrown out. So law enforcement is acting as though this person could still be armed. That is why there has been no pit maneuver. They did, in fact, put out a spike strip. The car did go right over that spike strip on the 110 freeway. 2 tires flattened this driver now just on the rims. They're in the area now of LAX, which makes it a little harder for SkyCal to get close to it, but that is what you are watching on the left side of your screen. What we're showing you on the right side of the screen is what was happening a little earlier.
And Amy, I'm just listening to the radio here, and it does sound like that Audi that was trailing that back unit has disappeared. They don't know where it went, but it's not back there anymore. So, you know, those officers, there's so much going on, right? You've got to be with the chase. You've got to pay attention to what the suspect's doing. You've got to drive, but then you've also got to be observant of your surroundings. And that officer in the back was able to notice that Audi was, you know, following them and even going through some red lights to make sure they could be able to keep up as we make now another northbound turn on San Pedro. Barely able to navigate that, Des. And that really goes to show the lack of control when you lose those tires.
Yeah, absolutely. Nearly bumped into that that delivery truck right there, but was barely able to dodge it. Kind of zigzagging around, so off of San Pedro and they're on 71st Street right now, despite what the map tracker tells you there, just because we're kind of zoomed in right here. So yeah, I have to wonder though if that vehicle was involved, if they're still on the phone and maybe trying to kind of coordinate, hey, I'm over here, like meet me over here, and then it's a lot of units have got to be kind of privy to what's going on, and I wonder if this is, with what we've been seeing lately, if LAPD is going to have to kind of adjust their tactics for some of these pursuits for these suspects that are willing to do this. And so coming back out here onto Avalon Boulevard, another busy street here at Florence, going to try to go through and could easily get taken out here, but manages to make it again there, even across that red light. But yeah, so there's a lot of other units that are in the area here, we know, kind of posted up, probably kind of paralleling this on other surface streets, and they have a lot more that they're going to have to keep tabs on if they have to worry about other vehicles potentially trying to come and get involved in this. Very, very suspicious by that Audi, and we'll definitely be looking to see if that vehicle pops back into the scene here somewhere, and how LAPD will handle that.
And this is a murder suspect. The tires have been blown out from a spike strip, and you see plenty of LAPD chasing this suspect right back in the area where they were a little earlier.
I just heard him say black Audi is now, look at, I think that's the vehicle right there. They just
So,
said the black Audi is now following.
And Des,
So,
they're actually talking about all three of
Mike.
those cars. They're also talking about that red Tesla that's back there as well, saying that all three of those cars have been following it. That white Mercedes, I did see that on the freeway as well. So, I mean, is this person just getting kind of a gaggle of friends together as they, kind of run from law enforcement? It's unclear. I mean, you've got seven, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 LAPD units that are actively in pursuit, and then you've got additional units that are behind it. I mean, to try to make a swap when you've got no front tires and you're going at almost no miles an hour, I mean, that it would have to be a very difficult swap to do. I mean, certainly you wouldn't do it under the cover of an overpass or something like that. They'd obviously would see it happen, but it's just, are they willing to take that risk, see it happen, and then get in a much more capable car and try to run? It's hard to tell exactly what the thought process is behind all of this as we continue to head. We're southbound on Avalon now, right, Des?
Yeah, it's still southbound on Avalon, and because of the nature of this, you would think, well, why doesn't LAPD try to kind of head them off and get in front? Well, they don't want to get in front if they think that this person could potentially have a gun in the car. Or they need to kind of stay behind the vehicle. They could kind of position other units, like I said, parallel on the streets to the east and west, kind of be parallel with the pursuit and try to head anything off. But they're not going to be getting directly in front of this suspect here, as I think we're probably going to have to make the decision to go back southbound here. Let's see what they do here once we get through Manchester, and then we'll probably get back with LAX to transition back to the southbound side of the 110.
Which has really just been problematic for us throughout the course of this chase, because he has been in and out of the LAX airspace. Now, as we're making, was he going to make a westbound turn here?
Wow. I can't tell. I think he just wants to go straight. You can see Manchester super, super busy right now, but he was able to get everyone to stop, but could have easily gotten T-boned at 40 or so miles an hour. So, all right, I think we'll give us a second here. We're going to kind of do the do-si-do back to the southbound 110 over to the 105 to try to get a better shot of this one. Yeah,
and as we approach the 5 o'clock hour, this pursuit of a murder suspect has been going on for more than an hour now. Started about 3:40 this afternoon, and now the LAPD is still trying to get this person to stop, still trying to take them into custody, and not having a very easy time doing it. Now, we did see a very aggressive spike strip maneuver on the 110 freeway. It was the 110 northbound that CHP rather was able to stop traffic essentially and force the driver onto the shoulder. And when he was on the shoulder, CHP set up that very strategic spike strip, and that caused the two front tires of this car to go out. And we are continuing to follow this as we begin KCAL News at 5. And okay, we're still watching this. Desmond is working his way down the southbound 110 freeway here to get on the other side of the airspace, so forgive the shot. I can tell you that the LAPD is still with him. They are still trying to make this come to an end. They are very far south now. So Desmond is essentially by USC, and this guy is down back by the 105, which is where he has been before. So we're continuing to watch this here on KCAL News. We're ending at the 4 o'clock hour, beginning KCAL News at 5 o'clock.
And we would like to welcome our CBS 2 viewers on Channel 2 to a pursuit of a murder suspect that has been going on since about 3:40 this afternoon. It's been incredibly wild to see. LAPD in pursuit of a murder suspect. And if you've been listening to Mike Rogers over on KCAL, then you know that this suspect is a murder suspect, possibly armed. We know he threw something out of the car. It could have been a holster. Don't know if the gun was in the holster. But they also deployed a spike strip, very unusual, the CHP did, on the northbound 110 freeway. And as you can see, well, we've got, you know, our picture is pretty interrupted right now because now it's in LAX airspace. However, the bumper was hanging off this car for most of this pursuit.
And the tire is completely off the car, right, Mike?
Yeah, two front tires are both off the car.
Isn't that unusual? I mean, we have seen cars go for a while, but for this, that spike strip and the tires came off quite some time ago.
It did, and I think, not that I ever want to give the suspect credit, but he has been driving straight and slow the whole time. And so I think because of, you know, he knows how this is all going down, he has not really made, I mean, he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable and he's making U-turns and kind of some left and right turns, but speeds have been around 20 or so miles an hour. Right side of your screen is video from earlier, Grand and off the freeway there when he was going around some of that traffic. But he knows that if he rides this car too hard, he's going to lose control over it. So, but I think it was because he was going so fast when he hit the spikes. I mean, he was going like 85 miles an hour when he hit the spikes. He got the front two tires, but when the car hit the spikes kind of flew into the air a little bit and didn't get a chance to hit the back two tires. So that's kind of how he's still able to maneuver right now.
Now we know, did he get in an accident? I mean, the spike strips, that didn't cause the bumper to come off, did it? No,
he went wrong way off of the freeway down near, I think, Harry Bridges down in Long Beach, almost to the terminals, the Port of LA area.
Yeah, San Pedro.
Right here, yeah, so you're the right side of your screen. So watch this. So he goes wrong way on the off-ramp to get off, technically, what's the 47 here. And then he starts to run into this traffic with those big rigs. And then as he's coming down, there's traffic that he just can't avoid right here. And so right in that area, and you'll see it right there. So that's where he starts to lose the bumper. It just barely peels off on the side, and then throughout the course of the chase, it started to become loose, more loose, and then now it's just hanging on off the back throughout the chase here. And I'm surprised, and I didn't even check, is Desmond's getting eyes on it? Yeah, it's still back there. So Des, we're now southbound Avalon. We've been kind of in this area before already.
Yep, yeah, and I heard them talking about more spike strips, actually, even saying spike strips are set. So, you know, LAPD is definitely beginning to lose a little bit of patience. And I think they mentioned that Audi, you know, another time. And you wonder, you know, if they're going to just straight up try to bring in another unit to pull that vehicle over. Because that is extremely problematic. And here are the spike strips right there.
Right there.
Let's see what he does. Okay. He's able to get by it. Just he hit the curb there, though. Yeah, but it was able to get it. Just amazing how much this suspect continues to be able to maneuver the vehicle there. Unsuccessful spike strip there. Unfortunately, it was kind of wise to it. The officer just didn't really have any place to hide there when he tried to kind of drag it in place. And, you know, it was a good attempt, but just not successful there. But, you know, just continuing, and I think that they're probably going to try to want to do that again at some point if they get another opportunity.
You know, can we talk about guys? You know, oftentimes we mention, well, they can't do a spike strip pit maneuver because it's too dangerous because this person could possibly be armed. They normally don't do it on a freeway, but they did it this time, and now they've done it twice. Yeah. So what does that tell you?
I mean, so two things. They have approved the spike strips. Spike strips, you know, it's still, the officer is still in the path of the suspect, but they're able to get cover, right? You can get behind a car and toss a spike out. That's what we saw in this last one. That's what we saw with CHP. Pit maneuver, though, was denied. Because of the nature of the want in the suspect, they did deny the pit maneuver, because in that situation, you flip the guy around and he's directly facing those officers, and it puts them in a tough situation. So LAPD, I think, is just calculating what they need to do to try to bring this to an end. And in this situation, after a very long time of this kind of driving, they allowed the spike strip attempt. Now, I don't know if that's because they kind of thought this car would give out by now. I certainly did, but it's still going. So maybe the incident commander was just kind of waiting for this to see if the car would give out and they could bring it to an end that way. And when that hasn't happened, now they're after the back tires to try to bring it to an end that way, which we've talked about before. Trying to spike back tires when you've already lost the front tires is difficult because the spike doesn't always go the way it needs to go. Sometimes it gets caught in those front rims and just kind of spins up in the rims and never makes it to the back tires. So it can be difficult when you're trying to spike just back tires, but obviously they're going to give it a shot. The problem is going slow. He can see it and try to get around it.
Well, I have to just admire the strength of the Toyota.
Yeah.
That it's withstood all of this for so long. The bumper's hanging off of it there. The 2 front tires are gone, and he just keeps going.
Yeah, and in the 3 and 4 o'clock hours when we were doing this, I mean, he was going like upwards of 100 miles an hour on the freeway. He was going incredibly fast on surface streets. I mean, this guy has really driven this car into the ground, and it is still putting up a pretty decent fight for what's happened to it. And it's really remarkable that he hasn't hurt anybody throughout the course of this. And I just want to bring back for our viewers that are just joining us here at 5 o'clock. So this started as a following. A detective was following this car. We heard that come out on the radio. 4 King 223 was in a following of it. The car did stop at one point, and it sounds like at least one person, we're not sure if more, but it sounds like at least one person may have gotten out of the car when it stopped, because you can hear on the radio, he's going to take off, he's going to take off. And then he does take off, and then that's when the officers began chasing him. So it sounds like this is obviously somebody that they know. It's obviously somebody that they've wanted. Detectives potentially were surveilling this person or figured out where he was and attempted to take him into custody, and it didn't go well, and here we are.
And now, I mean, he's been in residential areas, not just industrial or warehouses, which also presents another problem because I know at one point you all showed pictures of people, coming out on the street, and they had their phones out, of course, taking pictures. Did we think at one point that he was making contact with somebody on the ground? It
kind of looked like he was on the phone at some point, and certainly we have heard LAPD be concerned about cars that are following the pursuit, most notably the Audi that they said is back there. They said there was an Audi following it that has run some red lights to try to keep up with them. We've also heard them reference a Tesla and a Mercedes, which we did see back there as well. So it's who knows if it's people that know him, if it's just people that, this has become a spectacle and they want to follow the chase. But LAPD is certainly aware of the fact that there was at least, 1 to 2, 3 cars that were tailing this chase throughout the course of it. One of them that was, so concerned to the point where they were, making note that this Audi was so close behind them.
Aside from going to San Pedro, have they primarily stayed in this area that we're seeing? Northbound 110, and at one point, did he go southbound?
Yeah, so this actually started just south of downtown at 40th and Main. So that's almost near kind of the, just east of USC, east of the 110. And then he kind of shot south. That's when he went down the 110. He made it all the way down to the 110 and then got off in San Pedro, turned back, got on the 110, and that's when he hit the spike. Then he gets off, then he goes northbound Main forever. We thought he was going back to where this started because he got really close to it. I think he got up to like 60th Street in Main, and then he started to make some turns, and now we're coming back, and now we're south of the 105. So to answer your question, yes and no. We have been here before, but he is making a lot of kind of north-south distance.
We just saw a couple pedestrians, including a kid there, just as a reminder of how dangerous this is. A school bus there stopped, and more pedestrians out there. I can't tell if they have their cell phones or if they're just kind of watching it or just out there. But I mean, there are a lot of people out on the streets.
Yeah, and now we're going, I think we crossed over the 105, so now we're back to being LAX's problem as we go north. That's why Dez's shot is starting to get far.
Oh, spike. More spike strips.
But he sees it.
Another spike attempt, but he was able to dodge that one as well.
He maneuvered that again?
Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I do kind of wonder, Mike, what you were talking about earlier at some point, if LAPD is just going to get fed up and want to bring out like a Bearcat and just kind of shove this person, into a wall or something like that. We have seen it. Yeah, and it's bad news out here with a lot of people for a suspect like this, and it seems like the suspect isn't going to be giving up anytime soon. And then you're talking about other vehicles potentially trying to cooperate, maybe potentially trying to pick this person up. So, at what point do they call Metro and just come out with, and really get serious about this? to bring this to an end and make sure that the suspect doesn't get away. They've got to be thinking about it at this point.
And you know what? If they were thinking about it, Desmond, they probably would have called for it by now, or they will, because as you have pointed out before, they don't just show up right away. It takes a minute, right?
Yeah, it takes a minute. The Metropolitan Division, whoever, whatever platoon they would deploy out here would have to, they'd meet, they'd coordinate, they'd come up with a plan, and then they'd have to respond out. Now, I haven't necessarily heard that be requested. That's not something that would always come out on the radio, though. That could be the watch commander at the station coordinating with the incident commander, coordinating with Metro. So we'll see if that's a route they want to go. But if they don't want to do the pit, spikes are unsuccessful so far, the two that they have tried, I mean, your next option would be to bring out armored vehicles, and we have seen that before. I've only seen it a couple of times, but I've seen it before. Well, they'll bring it out, and those armored vehicles will just box them in and be done. Especially when we are at such slow speeds, it wouldn't be that big of a feat for armored vehicles to come in and make that happen.
Well, one thing we know, they won't be getting back on the freeway.
Yeah, well, they did though. I mean, it was for like one exit with two tires. Yeah.
Oh my.
And it was only, I think it was southbound on the 110, and I think they were on and off in one exit. Which was what was that? Was that another spike?
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if that was or not, but okay. I think he actually lost the wheel now, so we might be on the brake caliper now, and they're really going to have trouble. You can tell the suspect is really having a lot of difficulty even keeping the vehicle straight at this point. I actually heard them say we're going to keep trying with the spikes, but maybe they won't even have to now. The rim, I think, finally gave out, and he may only be on 3 wheels possibly at this point, but making another turn here off of Manchester and Main onto 85th Street, and we'll try to kind of parallel west and see if we can get a shot. But boy, and it feels like the suspect is doing this on purpose too, just trying to stay in this airspace where it makes it difficult for helicopters to see. He's got less eyes from the sky. Maybe he thinking he can get lucky if the LAX has to divert one of the helicopters or something like that. Certainly making it more difficult for us. So. It seems to be pretty deliberate what the suspect is doing. They're calling out the suspect's description now at this point if they do try to get out and run. But
well, you know what, Des? Hopefully,
northbound Broadway.
Hopefully, they are staying on this vehicle. They're staying on this driver, as opposed to, we know they keep up with the helicopter overhead, and sometimes relinquish giving up behind the vehicle. But hopefully, this time they're going to stay with him, considering what's happened here.
And considering
what they're
crime.
wanted for.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so really quickly, I'm just listening to the unit on the ground and I'm playing back the video. Somebody threw something at the suspect car. So that's what we saw back at Main and 88. There was somebody, and if we can get the video, right there, yeah, you're looking at it.
Oh, okay.
So if we re-rack that one more time, you'll see this black object come out into the street, and that suspect looks like it hits him in the front. I don't know what it was, if it was a trash can or what, right there.
Oh, yes.
See it? Yeah.
Yes.
So they said that, somebody threw that out at the car, and you see it laying in the street there. So I don't know who that was, if that's just some, citizen that's over it too, and just trying to bring it to an end. But, that was interesting.
Good point, because they did swerve quite a bit. I mean, sharply also.
Right, and that's why I thought maybe it was a spike at first, because you see that unit right there on the corner.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if that unit had a spike, but now one of the units is saying that somebody actually threw something out in an attempt to hit that vehicle.
So Desmond, are we still, can you find him? Are we having
he just made a westbound turn here off of Broadway. He's going to be coming back over here to
there he is.
Near the right near the 110 and see if they're going to go. Yeah, okay, so he's going underneath the 110 right now. But yeah, I mean, so now you have other people, bystanders actively getting involved in this pursuit. We've seen that before. I can remember where one time where a suspect just came and started pounding on the window of someone that they believe was armed with a gun, and it's just another variable that LAPD doesn't want to have to deal with. So, the longer this goes on, the more of a circus it becomes like that, and people putting themselves in harm's way and, potentially complicating things for the police. And, you'd love to just see some Bearcats come in and end this really quickly. But last I heard them say is they're still going to continue with the spike strips, is making another turn and coming back southbound here now on Figueroa. It's been, Figueroa, Broadway, Main Street, Avalon, most of just been kind of going primarily north-south with a little bit of east-west, but like 90% of what the suspect's been doing has just been north-south through South LA and the Harbor Freeway, and primarily around LAX's airspace. And how much longer can this suspect continue, and how many more people are going to try to get involved in this as well? It's a lot for LAPD to think about.
Yeah, and speaking of people getting involved, we also had at least one and possibly several other vehicles also getting involved in the pursuit, following the pursuit. Is there any word on those vehicles?
Sorry, okay. I thought I heard him say all four tires are out.
I think you're. Oh, no, they're clarifying now, only the front 2 tires. It sounded like somebody said all 4, and then the dispatcher asked for clarification. They said no, just the front 2. Man, that would have been great if they had gotten all 4 out.
Westbound.
Then he would have to. Go ahead, Desmond.
No, I know Rudabeh had asked me a question, but I was listening to that radio traffic there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I want to let you focus on the pursuit and what the police are saying and how they're talking to each other. But I was just wondering, we were talking about the public, members of the public getting involved in this pursuit and complicating things for police. And I know at one point there was at least one other vehicle who was getting involved by following the pursuit. And I just wondered if we had heard anything about that. I think there was a Mercedes and a Tesla maybe.
And an Audi.
An Audi.
An Audi, right?
And an Audi. And the Audi was really the most concerning one that got the tactical flight officer's attention and queued that up to the ground units. I might have heard a line that they were trying to stop that Audi, but it was something that was said briefly a minute ago, and coming back eastbound here. So just, boy, coming back. Wait, now they just said he's coming back around. Yeah, so it just kind of did a U-turn there. It's just amazing that the vehicle is even able to do that. Not sure how this vehicle is still running at this point, but that's that kind of legendary Toyota reliability, I suppose, at this point. We'll see if we can move just a little farther to the west, because now not only are we dealing with LAX, but we're also on Hawthorne Airport's kind of on their approach pattern as well. So we're really aggravating 2 busy airspaces right here. Fortunately, it doesn't seem that Hawthorne is super busy at the moment. So southbound on Hoover coming back towards us here, but just what is the plan here with this suspect? We've just been going on for so long, and he's just going to take it until he runs out of gas, or the vehicle waves the white flag on this, it seems.
Yeah, because of I guess the distance too, Des, we're not able to see if officers are assembled to possibly lay another spike strip.
They may have another one here planned. I mean, it certainly seems like they're going to have a lot of opportunities to do it. And we're right by a school right here.
But the kids.
Now they're all getting a view of what's going on. But and you saw too how long the line is of the spike strip. So even though they're concerned about the suspect possibly having a gun. Oh, I think I just heard Mike. I heard him just say that Metro was approved.
Oh, good.
So so we may finally see the Bearcats come in and bring these shenanigans to an end, which would be really great. But that's going to take some time.
Right.
That was just another person coming to get involved. But maybe they'll have another spike strip set up somewhere. But we did just hear they're calling in for the cavalry to finally bring this nonsense to an end.
Can you just imagine living in the neighborhood and you're hearing that doggone bumper being dragged on the concrete? It's got to be loud. And besides all the police presence there as well. This is. What do we think was
really
going to happen here?
There.
Yeah, well, he's still going.
Yeah, almost hit that Honda SUV. That was really close the way he made that turn, and just obviously so much difficulty keeping up with this. So here we go. Here comes some more. They got multiple spike strips out here now.
Whoa,
they're getting right up on the
wow.
suspect. That's two spikes there. I don't think it was successful. Unfortunately, he made that turn, but they're directly getting into harm's way, and
chasing him
really
into the
see
street.
how tired of this LAPD is getting. Yeah, right in the middle of the street, right up there on that suspect. That was quite a calculated risk, and
look at this.
Still,
is
we're
this
not
person
able
trying
to
to block
successfully do it there. Oh, Yeah,
kinda looks like
maybe.
it.
I mean,
Look at that.
Yeah, but start to get like a little bit of vigilantism here. We saw that person come and throw a trash can or something at the suspect, and yep, these are the kinds of things we see as these crazy pursuits continue here. As,
The bumper
going
is
underneath the
taking
110 again, coming back to Broadway.
a shellacking.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the bumper is still on the vehicle, which is amazing to me.
How is it
That
possible?
almost looked like they were throwing that spike strip at the car. You know, like,
Yeah,
wanting
I
to
mean-
get it on the ground, but just throw the doggone thing.
Yeah. Oh, and it worked. It sounds like it worked. We're getting word that they had
it
a
is-
successful spike.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So they may have gotten.
Okay.
I'm wondering if it's
Nice.
that left rear, Des. It looked like.
Yeah,
Something's hanging
potentially.
off of it.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean,
If it
they,
makes another
Besides the
turn,
bumper.
we'll see if we.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at some point there's not going to be any rubber left to maneuver this vehicle, and I'm not sure that we've ever seen a vehicle on four rims before, but could end up being a situation like that. And how are they still able to steer this vehicle? How is that bumper still hanging on as well?
Right.
It's detached to just one little thread. It must be just like one pin that is holding that in place here. Back onto Broadway, making another turn, and just give up already. I mean, dude, it is over. It is really over at this point, and but we may end up having to bring in those armored vehicles, like we said, if this continues. Supposedly they're being dispatched, but if they're coming from downtown, it's going to take them some time to get through traffic and through rush hour traffic for them to catch up in this area. So I wouldn't imagine they're going to be here in 5 minutes or anything like that.
And they are en route. We did hear that. We did hear that they were dispatched en route. Is that a different crime scene with crime tape right there?
Yeah, I think so. I see. Yeah, maybe just
wonder what that
completely. Suspect is now boxed in. They said we lost the. I didn't hear the cross streets, but they said he's boxed in somewhere. Dang it. I'll try to find it here. I haven't heard them call out any streets, and we're looking from 2 miles away. It's just, oh boy, got units going code 3 here. Maybe it came up to this area. We'll try to reacquire it for you, but I did just hear him say that the suspect's boxed in, so maybe they made a wrong turn somewhere.
Yeah, you could tell he was driving at much slower speeds, obviously, with the condition of the car and the condition of the wheels or the lack of wheels. And throughout the pursuit, which has been going on for a very long time, it started, I think, at 3:40, had a pretty good control of the car until just pretty recently, when you could tell he was losing control of the car, swerving a little bit, making those turns a little bit more difficult and going at slower speeds with all of these law enforcement vehicles behind him, but just not giving up.
Even after being what we suspect was a trash can thrown at the vehicle. That was pretty big, whatever that was. That
And
was
the
about
spike strip.
15 minutes ago. And now, they've definitely, we see more,
Move west maybe a little bit.
more vehicles moving in,
Yeah.
sort of setting up a perimeter.
Yeah.
And pretty
Okay,
wild
well,
if
yeah,
that
it
was
was
another
over
crime
by this
scene.
unit, which, that's right about where we think the suspect is, 92nd and Main, right? Maybe by this laundromat right here. And you see units congregating and closing off traffic right here, but it's just can't get a clear shot with from a couple of miles away here, unfortunately. We'll see if we can climb a little bit. My pilot Dylan, just shout out to him, doing an incredible job dealing with LAX and all of this. But now we're at a stop a couple of miles away and somewhere here off of 92nd and Main. But they did say that the suspect was boxed in.
Okay, well.
Meaning they can't really go anywhere. And then are we talking about a possible standoff situation, Des, where they're just sitting there?
Yeah, and they're trying to clear all these people out. You can see, I mean, a lot of people that unwittingly just kind of got, involved in all this. Mike said something about a white tow truck, but
Yeah, Des, I
see
think
that
if you
truck
go
right
just to the
there.
left of the laundromat, and it peer right between, let's see, yeah, right there. Okay, so there's the tow truck.
there it is.
And it's going to be right around the corner. So it's going to be just to the
Okay,
left of that tow truck.
over
And you
here
guys
by
can Yeah, I don't know if you guys can slide any more east, but it's, yeah,
Okay.
see right there.
Yeah. Okay, we see him
A lot of
the
officers out of their
here
vehicles.
at gunpoint. Yeah, and you know, right in front of an apartment complex, several apartment complexes, and
And there's the car,
we can see
yeah.
the officers with their guns drawn here. We'll see if we can. Yeah, and looks like the door is open.
Yeah.
So hopefully some good news here that they're cooperating. We're seeing if we can just kind of move around. But this is, you know, right almost in the middle of the airspace here, and trying to navigate with the other choppers and looking for more than a mile away. But yeah, we'll see if maybe we just go a little farther to the east. Okay, there we go. We've got,
Hands up.
it's probably the best view we're going to get of the suspect finally out here with their hands up. And
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of just what we thought. After all this, the charade of the north-south, and here they go, taking them now into custody here finally off of 92nd and Main. And code 4 they just called after that marathon pursuit, as aggravating to us and the authorities as possible all around LAX's airspace. We've got them in handcuffs here from over a mile away.
And they didn't need Metro.
Yeah.
They thought, you know, it looks like.
Yeah.
What would you say, guys, that they boxed him in and he knew he had nowhere else to go, so he just got out of the car, just got out of the vehicle?
Yeah, and I got to go back and look because.
I think
go ahead, Des,
go
sorry.
Mike. No, I'm not sure if he collided with something, or you know, if the vehicle was finally overheating or what. But you know, they got another spike with the last aggressive one that we saw. So the vehicle may have just, you know, finally given up, and the jig was up.
Well, kudos to law enforcement for laying those spike strips on more than one occasions, and did make contact, and eventually the driver had really nowhere else to go, and the car couldn't go on much further.
And there were a lot of people in danger while this was
I don't know,
happening.
hold on.
I kept
It's
thinking about
almost
those
over.
students that we passed,
Yeah.
or that they passed by as we were looking at the video of them going by the school, and other residents, and some getting involved, as we say. And
Yeah.
to your point, Ruta Bay, Toyota.
It's craftsmanship.
Yep.
Yep, code 4 here, one suspect in custody, and LAPD will be reopening these streets, and finally the danger over to everyone, and you know, to the suspect themselves, who could have got T-boned any number of times going through those intersections. So 92nd and Main, where it comes to an end with a peaceful surrender, insane pursuit, and a peaceful ending, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Desmond. And we want to invite our KCAL viewers to enjoy regular programming at this time, but we continue here on CBS LA on Channel 2.